What's up, everybody? This is your boy D Mac again. So let's talk. Um, we're gonna get deep right here for a second because I want to talk about something and address something with the men. Um, as a child, I was a pretty happy child. I grew up in a two-parent household. My mom and dad were together all the way up till my dad died when I was 17 years old. So I've always had a stable household. But during that time when I was around 8 or 9 years old, I was placed in a situation to where I was sexually molested um, by someone. And as a boy, whenever you're molested by another man, it does something to you physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, all of that. And throughout my years of growing up, it happened for probably about 6 months, and then I wasn't around that person anymore, so it stopped. But the mental damage that it did to me over the years is what I'm about to explain to you. Um, After it happened, I went on with life and I put it in the back of my mind because at that time I felt like I couldn't say anything. I was only 8 years old. I didn't want this to come out and tear my family apart. And so I kept it to myself and I kept it in the back of my mind, just pushed it in the back of my mind and went on with life. But as time went by, um, there would be instances where things would happen, red flags that would revert me back to those times of when I was molested. And these things will cause an emotional flare up in me. And so once I started dating, I got to the dating age and started dating girls. Um, you know, I would I would use being with women as validation of my manhood because every time I thought about what happened to me, I felt like he had taken my manhood from me, and there was nothing that I could do to get it back other than sleep with a bunch of women to validate my manhood. And because in my family, you know, uh, it was taught to us that being part of being a man was being a ladies man and being able to attract the ladies and lure the ladies in and stuff like that. So throughout my dating years, I destroyed a lot of relationships for the simple fact that if I felt like my manhood was threatened or questioned by a female that I was with, I would go out and sleep with a bunch of other females to validate within myself that my manhood was intact. And this destroyed a lot of relationships. This destroyed my positive outlook on relationships with females. I never was able to trust females for a long time, and because of this, I always saw females as sexual objects. I never seen them as being my friend, a close confidant, a platonic friend. I never saw them as that. I always saw them as an object of desire to validate my manhood to me. Um, and this was something that I struggled with for a long time. The first time I was able to put the words into actual to actually voice what happened to me, I was 27 years old. So from the age of 8 years old to 27 years old, I never spoke out loud what took place and how it affected me until I was in this program to where I was forced to deal with my demons. And whenever I spoke out loud what took place to me, I cried like I never cried before in my life. And that was one of the greatest cleansings that I ever had. And after that, it became easier to speak about it and deal with it. But even at that point, there were still people in my life that I hadn't told about this, and so even though I had spoken it, I was still hiding it from certain people because I didn't want them to feel guilt because of what happened. And, I didn't want them to carry that burden because I know the feeling of carrying that burden for all of those years in myself. And I didn't want anybody else to have to carry that burden. And so I still kept it to myself, and it still was affecting my relationships. So from 27, I'm 44 now. I just recently was able to voice to those people what took place and how it affected my life. And really and truly, honestly, I don't know where to go from here, because I've always had that crutch all my life of what took place, and I was always able to use it to justify my actions. But now that I've gotten it out and I've revealed to everybody what took place with me, now I don't have that crutch any longer. So I don't have any excuse to do those things anymore. And so now I'm in the process of those things not being a part of my life anymore. Me not having to feel like my manhood is being questioned by anybody. And if it is by anybody, then that's their issue. It's not mine, because I'm becoming more secure in who I am as a man, knowing that it wasn't my fault what happened to me as a child, knowing that I'm not gay because of what happened to me as a child. All of these things goes through the minds of a male who has been assaulted in that way. And so, oftentimes people who don't know how to handle that or don't know what to say to you will minimize it by saying that, well, oh, so many people have been molested and so many women have went through this. And true enough, yes, absolutely, 100%. But the toll that it takes on a male child versus a female child are two totally different things. And so I don't want to take away from what women go through at all. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that a young man who has been violated by another man has a whole different mindset about what took place. And so I I I took this mindset into a job that I had, and I worked as a therapeutic boarding school mentor. And there were kids in this program that I was in that had been through the same thing, and they, just like me, had never voiced it to anybody in their life before. And I was the first person that they voiced it to and gave them that release from what took place with them. And I'm so grateful for that, man. Those are some times in my life where what happened to me was not seen in a negative connotation, even though it was negative. But the outcome was, this kid got a release. This kid got this stuff out of him that he's been carrying for I don't know how long, because I don't know how when they were went through what they went through. But the point is, they were able to come to me, and I was able to relate on a level that nobody else was able to relate with that kid on. And who knows what that helped, that how that helped that kid. Who knows what those kids are able to accomplish today because they were able to get that out and not keep on holding it in like I did until I was 27 years old. So I count it all joy, man. And it says all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord, man. And I love the Lord, despite my backslidden state and stuff like that. I still love the Lord. And He's worked these things together for my good. It hasn't always been horrible. And now that I'm able to freely speak about it, I hope that I'm able to help somebody else who's been through this and let you know that, first and foremost, it's not your fault. Second, the person who did it, more than likely it was done to them, and that's what they knew to do. And don't blame yourself. And while you blame them, also take into consideration what they've been through. And three, this is going to help you to grow. These things help us grow. It's unfortunate that we have to go through these types of things, but this is a part of life. And if that's within your life cycle or your life plan, then you're going to have to take it and use it for something better. You cannot wallow in self pity for the rest of your life and blame everybody for everything. At some point, you have to get up, accept what took place, move forward with your life, forgive the people that did it to you. That is the most important thing. You have to forgive everybody that's involved in the situation, whether it's a parent or a sibling or another family member, friend of whoever it is. You have to forgive them, and it's not for them, it's for you, so that you can move forward, so that you can let it go. And yeah, man, I'm so glad that I'm able to finally get this out and really reveal to people the hardship that I've been going through. That's just one thing on my plate, along with a lot of other things that I've been throughout the course of my life. But I thank God for giving me the strength to be able to make it through it with still a sane mind and a sound mind. My name is Kunta Kinte. My parents named me that because they knew I'm a fighter. They know that I fight all. Oh, I'm gonna scrap until the last breath is in me, and I'm grateful for that. Uh, yeah, this is D Mac, man. I just wanted to get deep and share some personal stuff with y'all. And like I said, once again, hopefully this will help someone else who's been through these types of things. And I'm letting you know, you're not by yourself, man, and you're gonna make it. You're gonna make it. This too shall pass. This is your boy D Mac. I'm out.